Good morning, team. Okay, right then, we are July Masterclass. When I made these dates in January, it's pretty terrifying that we're at the third one already. As I said, this one's recorded, so we will get it. And we are going to start with a product of the month. So we're going to do a quick, we always start with going quick one through a product because it's quite nice to just really concentrate on one. Those of you that have got pens and papers, my suggestion today would be to almost have two columns. One is your notes, so things that you want to take down from what I say, but the other one I would put actions, because there's quite a few things in this masterclass which is going to leave you with a bit of like an action to-do list. Because I think what's really important, Luke's just chesting his hand, what's really important is that we use them to actually then go and do and action things and make it happen. We don't want to learn, we want to actually then get the benefits of the learning. So I am going to share my screen for the first time, and we're going to have a little quick look at the hand sanitizer. Now, the reason that I've chosen this is, I don't know if anyone else is noticing it, but we are in our office having a really strange surge of people buying sanitizer again, even though there's kind of no COVID screaming going on. And I think probably part of that is travel season. So I just wanted to refresh your minds about probably one of the most staple, oldest products that we have, and is needed pretty much in our world for everything. So remember, with the sanitizer, you have that blend of wild peppermint, eucalyptus, lavender, and geranium. That is then sitting with denatured grain alcohol, which is a 70% grain alcohol. So it is completely safe for all the WHO regulations and everything that happened in COVID. But what is most lovely about it, as we know, is one, the smell, but also the fact that it's never sticky and that you can spray it. So one thing to be able to explain to clients about normal sanitizers, the gel sanitizers, they're very aware that they don't smell nice, that they have that horrible texture, but I want them to know why and what is in that texture. So just at the very bottom of this first page about hand sanitizer, it explains that the Pink's Boutique one is free from what's called carbamers, or synthetic gelling agents, because that is what's used in sanitizers to create the gel texture. And carbamers are synthetic polymers made from acrylic acid, the family that essentially you make acrylic nails from in the end. They are not biodegradable. And it means that they can essentially persist in the environment like microplastics. So no one ever talks about this in those gel substances. We always talk about the microplastics in face scrubs, but there is an element of this happening in hand sanitizer land as well. So we want one that doesn't have the carbamers, that quick dries, isn't irritating, can be used on the whole family, no problems of using it on children. And in terms of what we will do with it, so those of you that have just let in, hello, we're just doing a quick product of the month, which is hand sanitizer. We can use it on our hot mitts to clean the feet, to clean their hands. We are never putting it on the face. It is a seriously astringent facial toner at 70% alcohol, so not the face. Luke has done it by mistake. He has picked it up in our bathroom, thought it was a toner, full face full. Little scream. Those of you in your mani-pedi zones, it's brilliant for spraying on the nail files. So I like spraying it on the nail file when the client can see you spray it on, or in any of your bowls and treatment bowls. And for us as a therapist, it's the equivalent to washing our hands. So if you cough or you splutter or you touch the bin lid, we can use it to wash our hands. The other thing that you might not do it with that I love using it for is when I'm waxing or doing any hair removal, I'll put it on a piece of cotton wool and I will use it to keep cleaning my tweezers, to make sure that when you're plucking and you keep getting the skin oils build up on the tweezers, that it keeps them really fresh. So anything you're doing with tweezers or tools and you need them to stay oil free, it works really well. And then at home, either in our houses or in your clients' houses, Obviously, they can use it as the sanitizer, but you can, and I do quite a bit, use it in my kitchen. So I will use it on the surfaces. I'll mist and clean the surfaces with it because it all smells amazing. And then the real key thing at this time of year, and the reason I've got it on the list, is because of travel. It is so useful for travel, for planes, for public transport, for restaurants, holidays. Like obviously I've just been in Morocco, that point where you want to clean knives and forks before you use them, etc. And this bottle, this one, is 100 mils. So technically this can go into the aeroplane with you. Remember then that we have the 1 litre that you can be refilling from in the salon. But also, if you get clients where they use it all the time and they fall in love with it, they could buy the litres from you so that they can fill up their bottle. And obviously they buy 1 of these, they are saving 10 of this bottle. So you could go down the refillable route with them as well. Okay. Any questions on the lovely hand sanitizer? No? Perfect. We'll stop sharing that one. I'll make sure that you've got this document. Okay, and I will share us a new one. Okay, so our masterclass. Our first job was our July product of the month was a hand sanitizer. Tick, we have done. Next question, just to make sure, and I've popped it and I'll pop it into the notes on the chat, that we do have the therapist Facebook group. So one of our continual challenges in the building is how to get hold of everybody when they're all so busy and doing treatments. So right now, whenever I've got anything to tell you guys, like there's a masterclass, I will put it in the Pink's Boutique Therapist Facebook group. That's a closed Facebook group for just us. So if you haven't gone in there, the link is in the chat. I will also put it now on a WhatsApp broadcast. And remember, the broadcasts are WhatsApp where you only hear from me. You don't hear anyone else talking, but I need to be in your telephone. My phone number needs to be in your telephone for you to be on the broadcast. Otherwise, apparently it doesn't work. So again, in the chat and afterwards, my phone number's there. But make sure that you've got me saved as Kirstie Pinks. And then when I put you in the broadcast, it should work. And then while we're just talking about links and places to get, just remember as well, there is a Pink's Boutique Business Hub, which has everything in it. It's like a little treasure trove with all the photos or videos or logos, health and safety. Every time we do a new piece of marketing, it goes in there as well. So that link is in the chat too. Now, when we do these masterclasses, we always do a bottle, we always do a product, and then I do a magic touch. So the last time we did the hot towels as a magic touch, and the masterclass before that, we did all our fruit waters. This time, this magic touch is a bit more educational for the client. So always, to be the best therapist there is, we are always trying to give more. And that more can be physical action in your treatment, like doing the magic hot towels or giving them the drinks. But the more can also be what you teach them and the education. And so I've got 2 things today that I want to show you and give to you, specific to any pregnant clients. Now, it doesn't matter what treatment they are having, but I have put together a book called Organic Pregnancy and Beyond. And the book is basically everything you could think of while you were pregnant to do with treatments, spas, and skincare products. Like, what treatment should I have? What should I avoid? Should I really avoid aromatherapy products? When the baby's born, what should I use on it? And so I will literally give these to you guys as PDFs. If anyone wanted to get them printed, you could. I have print files. But my idea is that you can literally set them up so that every pregnant bump that walks into your building, oh, it's going to get grumpy at us. Every pregnant bump that walks into your building, that we will give them this book that you can send them home, with. So my screen I was just trying to share that I will try and get back is the book, so I can show you a little bit inside it. So I'm going to send that over to you. What you could do is it's got an RRP value on it of $12.95. So you could include it in your treatment. So if you do a pregnancy body massage, I would now just put in there that it includes the Organic and Beyond ebook worth $12.95. So you can pass it off as like a value added gift to go with it. And you could either find a way of attaching it into your emails to them, or you could just manually send it to them afterwards. In terms of pregnancy, in the spa finishing school, we don't have a recorded pregnancy treatment, but a few years ago, I did do a pregnancy masterclass. And if anyone wants the links to that on your action list, just put Ask Kirstie for Pregnancy Masterclass. And we do have written a treatment called Nurture, which is using the Rose products, and it's a rose foot bath and then a rose back scrub, back massage, and then full body massage for a pregnant person. So if you are technically trained to do pregnancy treatments, then I can send you that as well. Okay, I'm just going to see if this will load for us or if it's going to get grumpy again. Try again. Can you see my beige whirling screen? No, doesn't want to play. I can pop you over the presentation it's in, but the easiest thing for me to do is actually send you the book. It is relatively sizable, it's very prettily designed, so it hopefully should be a really useful tool as a piece of magic. And to go with that magic, I have also made a very detailed pregnancy consultation, so that you can have that as well. Now, when Kirstie says detailed, it is quite detailed. So if you are going to use it, it probably will take an extra 10-15 minutes the first time you ever meet them. So if you're going to do pregnancy bump treatments, I would ask them to come 15 minutes before to make sure that they can go through that. So a couple of questions coming up in the chat. Kathy, always got the sanitizer in our entrance hall. Clients still commenting on how nice it is. Thank you. And Vanessa, when we say, is it suitable for those being treated with cancer? I think at that point, you're still referring to the sanitizer. So the denatured grain alcohol aspect, not a problem. The essential oils, the only one you could question is wild mint, but just questioning it, not from being a contraindication, but just from being invigorating. However, once you're in the point of being in hospitals and having to wait for chemo treatments and sitting there for ages, I personally, if it was my friends and family, would much rather happily have them surrounded by some wild mint and some denatured grain alcohol. So I would be happy to use it. So on your action list, it's get the pregnancy book from Kirstie, get the pregnancy consultation from Kirstie. And as part of the marketing calendar, I have also got a new general pinks consultation ready as well. So this consultation, if it will open, hold on. Oh, look, we've got, this is the pregnancy consultation. So just jumping back to the pregnancy bump consultation, it has decided it will open for me. Will it move is the question next. Starting to show you. So you can see, as you'd expect, set out consultation questions. It's got a lovely kind of grid where it's got the trimesters and the different weeks and details about their pregnancy. Quite a big medical list, because obviously with pregnant bumps, there's quite a lot. some facial and mani-pedi specifics, and the ongoing treatments. And it's also got a postnatal form as well, because I really like the idea of us treating them in trimester 4, still in a slightly different way. So you've got that as a new document. Okay. What we've also got is, for the non-bumped people, a new Pink's Boutique consultation card too, which I am sending you. Now, this one, I'm going to send out some messages saying that in August, I'm going to add an additional masterclass, like a bonus extra one, to go through this consultation, because this is my real personal passion piece at the moment. What I have made is a bigger lifestyle concept. So it still has to work as a consultation as we would expect, but this is for brand new clients, the first time you meet someone, and to really, really do a much deeper dive into their world. And I want to do a whole masterclass explaining it. So you'll see, can you see on the front page, there's a goldfish in a bowl? This idea is about trying to help someone understand that to be healthy, they are the fish. To be healthy, there is no rhyme or reason to just treating the fish. We have to treat the water before anything else. We have to look at the whole world that they sit and live in. So it will be all a consultation about all of the potential toxins around them. Everything they use. What are they using in their kitchen cleaning? What pans are they using? What water are they drinking? Then through into the food in terms of what happens in their gut, stress, and what happens in their mind. And then eventually the last obvious bit, which is skin. So this is ready and you can have it now. But I will also put in the bonus masterclass to kind of give people some more details about how actually to use this and how to describe it best to people. So on your action list, put have a look at new consultation. Do I want to use it or not? And do I want to go on the August masterclass for it or not when Kirsty sends the date? So our magic touches for today are educational ones. New pregnancy book, new pregnancy consultation, and the new, what I call the goldfish consultation, the goldfish lifestyle consultation. Artwork is all ready for you. Okay. Just letting a couple of people in. Anyone that has just joined us, hello. Just a quick recap, we're en route. We started at 9:30, so we've done hand sanitizer as our product of the month. We've then been looking at some magic touches, which are a pregnancy book to give away to pregnant clients, a new pregnancy consultation, and a new full lifestyle consultation. In August, the bonus masterclass about the lifestyle consultation, I genuinely think we could almost do it as a charged for a set of time, so that we could have the option of having a short version of the consultation so that you're happy you can treat them, but also that you could sit with someone for 30 minutes, 45 minutes as a charged treatment, doing this in-depth lifestyle consultation with a short amount of treatment so they still get some hands-on from you, and then really work on how we build out a much bigger lifestyle piece. Because my real drive for you guys from now is going to be the dream, really, this is my dream, is can you in a day have less clients that you keep there for longer and you do more for? Because it's much easier for you to only have to deal with 4 people that are maybe there for 2 hours than it is to deal with 10 people. And so this new lifestyle concept is going to be part of how we can start to do that. Okay. Then business, a few business questions. What I really want to look at in the business section is making sure you're on track with the Pink's marketing calendar, that you're happy with the things that have happened so far, because one of the big things is making sure that we haven't missed elements. So the next coming gift with purchase, so in your action list, this is an August job, but we run it in September. So we're going to plan this out in August, and then we're going to launch it in September. The offer will be for your clients that when they buy their anti-age cleanser and their serum, that they will get their eye cream half price, which, because this is obviously quite an expensive product, they are getting a £26.50 saving. And the way it works for you guys is that if you buy the cleanser and the eye cream, you will get the eye cream. Sorry, if you buy the cleanser and the serum, you will get the eye cream half price at trade, half price. So you'll be getting that for £12. So I will have bits of artwork for it. Always, you want to be planning this at least a month ahead so that you can get it in and you know what's coming. And then the plan is to launch it in September. We will put it up on one weekend in September. We normally do it as the last weekend on the website because it's payday weekend. But for you, you can have it running for all of September if you want in the retail area. You don't have to match us. I think in salon it's better to have it out for longer than it would be on the website. And then our little tracking document of things that have already happened. These have a green tick if they've already happened, but I just want to run through them briefly because some of you are in this masterclass but might not have been in others, and you might need to ask us for them. So the pregnancy book and the detailed consultation, yes, with the new Pinks consultation for goldfish and normal people. In April, we made a PDF, which was a guide to natural and organic for clients, because my idea was any new client who wasn't pregnant should get the guide to natural and organic, which explains to them ingredients to avoid. And then the pregnant ones get the pregnancy book. So on first meeting, first session with you, they've got a really good piece of educational information to take away. So if you don't have that, put it on your action list to ask us for it. In February and March, we brought out the new Why Pinks Boutique flyers. These are the general ones to have in the building, really, when you've got someone new saying, overall, what is Pinks Boutique all about? And then earlier in the year, we also had little signage cards for the retail area where they were breaking up the different ranges. Because I was saying to people that we know there's like a sea of brown bottles in Pinks Boutique. And so we have the little cards that break it up into foot, body, hand, facial, and then break up the facial ranges as well. So if you don't have any of those and you want them for the retail area, let us know. And then while I've got you, because it's useful, because people always forget the things that are in the background, remember there are some client-facing flyers. This one is a full anti-age one, like a whole what to do anti-age routine. And then this one is an oily skincare routine, how to treat an oily skin. So if you don't have any of these, they should be on your action list to find your way to those as well. Perfect. Okay, we are halfway, which was my plan. And then the rest of the time, I want to start doing some moves. So that we've had a bottle, we've had some magic touch, we've had some marketing business bits, and then we've got some physical movements. And I feel like this one is maybe about 2 days too late because it started to get cooler again. But the plan is to really look at cryo and the cryo ball version and how best to use it. A few people had requested this as an option, so I thought it would be a good plan. So in terms of why this came about, we have got an additional facial in Pinks Boutique, which technically really has been stolen from Proverb, which is the skin workout, the natural facelift. So I made it for Proverb because it was the idea was a very big lifting gym facial concept. But once made and realized how nice it was, it felt wrong not for it to be for all of us. And so you can do it with Pinks products, you can do it with Proverb products. It doesn't matter. But that is the skin workout, natural facelift facial. I know some of you have done it already. I know Louise has. If you haven't, it exists as a training module, which is £156. But always when you come to a masterclass, I give out a 20% discount for any courses that people might want to do online. So I will pop that into the chat. The code for the Spa Finishing School to get the discount is all capitals MClass20, and it will take 20% off any course. Okay, so that's separate. But in that facial, we use cryoballs. And I've slowly becoming more in love with my cryoballs. And some of the people that have done the facial, because it's included, but we do a short section of lifting, have said, right, what else can I do with these? And obviously, because it's summer, it is a perfect treatment and a really inexpensive treatment to add in. Like you can buy those for kind of 20, 25, 30 pounds, and you have a whole new kind of skill set at your fingertips. Hold on. All right, then let's get our share going again. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to run through the benefits. Then we're going to look at the different types of globes. And then I'm going to put Layla on the bed, which she's asleep still because it was 2 a.m. that she got home this morning. And we're going to make her face cold. Okay, so a few benefits of the cryo globes. First one, reducing puffiness and inflammation. Obviously, as soon as you put cold on the face, after having massaged, where you're bringing warmth and blood to the face, you are going to constrict the capillaries, get them warmer, they dilate. So you've got this constrict and dilate, constrict and dilate. And as soon as you do that, and it's why it's used in sport, why if you've run a marathon, they put you in a ice, then hot, ice, then hot, is because you get that flushing ability. You can start to move and flush, which will help take down swellingness and puffiness. So amazing around the eyes or anywhere that's puffy, but also for inflammation from other things like sunburn or a giant spot. Last night on the aeroplane, I just got like this ginormous spot here. And I was like, right, you are having a cryoball, my friend. Soothing skin irritation and redness. So if you have got menopausal clients, they are heading into kind of rosacea, general sensitivity later in age, or they're sensitive because they've got burnt from the sun, or you've given them a treatment that has purposely made their skin red. So things like microneedling, any sort of distinct exfoliation. They are really lovely to use afterwards to try and soothe the skin. To tighten and tone, which is why we use them in that big, beautiful skin workout facial. Boosting circulation, and to try and help press in any product that you have put under it. So I would always be working with a product underneath it, which tends to be best as an oil so that they slip. But any sort of oil-based serum that you have or facial oil that works for that skin type would be good underneath them. They are also very, very good for migraines and headaches. I did one the other day, my claim to fame, a month or so back, I had to do the natural facelift treatment on the very top head of Champneys, like super head. She had a massive migraine, so I did all my super work with those. And then she threw up after. So I managed with my massage to make her sick. We are still friends. And she's using, but I was like, that's a good one, Kirsty. So really, really good for tension, headaches, anyone that's clenching and jaws around here, around the sinuses. And overall, if you use them as TikTok is showing all of the youngsters to all the time, if you do it frequently, you do help with lymphatic drainage for sure, so that you can just get this genuine, better, smoother, even tone across the skin. So they are not to be ignored. They are super useful things. Now, some of you may have them. I want to know what shapes anyone has got. There are a world of different shapes out there. So the one I showed you first is the classic, basically a golf ball on the end of a stick. It is the easiest in terms of using, I think, like it's the kind of best fits all, very easy because of the handles, and so really popular. There is then Don't know if anyone's got one of these, dripping everywhere from my ice water. This one I call the mermaid. It looks like a mermaid tail. Sometimes they look like spoons. Now, with these, they are good for contouring areas. So they're particularly good around the sinuses, around the nose, around the eyes, sometimes better if the face is very small. If you're only getting one pair, I would get the golf balls. If you want to get two pairs because you want to keep them cold and switch them in and out, then it might be quite nice to have a mermaid as well, because then you can use the mermaid particularly around the eye and sinus area. I don't have the other two here, but you can also get these U-shaped ones where there's like two mini golf balls on the end. A bit like a gua sha concept that you can be using two balls at once. They are fine along lines like here or the cheeks, but I'm not particularly when I use them. Feel free to object if you use one and like them, but I feel they're a bit harder to use elsewhere on the face. And then there's also the magic mushroom. The mushroom is a bit like the mermaid, but it's had its bottom completely flattened. And what they are quite good for is if you're holding. So if it's almost like a stamp. If you imagine working in a post office where they're stamping things, they have that kind of stamp poultice type shape. So they are quite nice under the eyes, but you can easily hold your golf balls under the eyes as well. So if you don't have any, and you only want one, I would go golf balls. If you're happy to get two, maybe golf balls and mermaids. So that is first up. Okay. Few key rules of these. To get them cold, you want them in ice, cold water, or a fridge. You do not want them in the freezer. With inside the ball, they have special liquids to help them retain their temperature, and you don't want to freeze the liquid. Also, the golf balls, you can get, some of you might have them as glass. So some brands have glass ones. The only thing with glass, obviously, if you have this entire structure in glass and you drop it, that makes for a messy moment in a treatment and expensive for you. So I've always stuck with the kind of much safer stainless steel option that bounce. You have to have something under them to slip on the skin. You've got to really remember to introduce the cold slowly and know that if you hold it still for too long when they are at their most cold, when they've just come out their ice, that you can feel a like cold burning. So when I start showing you, we are going to have to be careful about those first movements with them. Pop your hand up or give me a wave. Does anyone already use them a lot already? Okay, because while we're using them, if anyone's got any good ideas, we can always share those as well. And we are going to be using somewhere between a light pressure and a medium pressure with them. But what we're looking for is when we've got Layla's face on the bed is can we find any new interesting moves with them or a better way to do lymphatic drainage? Has anyone actually done proper manual lymphatic drainage training? Okay, because this might be a really good first intro into it and how it works. It is having a massive resurgence at the moment, lymphatic drainage, because of TikTok again. For most of us, it's something that happened years and years ago and was not that exciting. And now it's like the most exciting thing in the world again. So medium pressure sometimes, light pressure. But on your paper, what I would like you to draw, if you put the capitals LID, lid. Because when I'm thinking about these, I think about lid. There's three things I predominantly will do with them. And I could do it all in one treatment, or we could do it in separate treatments. So the L is for lift. So we can use them as lifting tools. So if you put L is lift. The I is for inflammation and how we use them as an inflammation tool. And the D is for drain, okay, how we use them for drainage. Now, before I move over to the other screen, I want to kind of explain the very first basics of manual lymphatic drainage. And so this is, if you come on like our body manual lymphatic drainage course, this would be one of the first things we'd explain. So let me stop sharing the screen so you can see all of me. Okay, so we need my arm for this. So the first thing to know, as therapists, we spend our whole life doing this, massaging towards the lymph nodes up towards the heart. Okay, that's what we've always been taught. But manual lymphatic drainage changes that, because this is the lymph node, okay? This is where the kind of key blockages or problems could be, and we're meant to be coming towards it. However, what you've got to think about my arm like a tube of toothpaste. And here is the nozzle, the top. The lymph node is the nozzle of the tube of toothpaste, the lid, okay? And this is the tube. Now, if I have got some blockages here in the top of the toothpaste tube, and you start squeezing the toothpaste tube from the bottom, what is going to happen up here? It's all just stuck, okay, and can't go anywhere. So what you've actually got to do in a real manual lymphatic drainage is you've got to start here. You've got to completely flip reverse what we do. You've got to start here and make sure that this is drained, so that then I can come a bit lower to drain up here again. Then I can come a bit lower, because I can't bring this lymph up to here until there is somewhere open for it to go, until there's no blockages here. So what we actually do is we start really near the lymph node, then we come away from it a bit, then we come away from it further, then we come away from it more, then we come away from it more, until we can do full strokes towards it. And that is the kind of mind-bending bit of manual lymphatic drainage. It's the other way. We start close to the lymph node, make sure that we've drained there, and then we start working our way back until in the end we have the full limb. And you imagine if you were doing a leg, it would be exactly the same, because the lymph nodes are all here. So actually we're going to start up here and make our way to the ankle. And so when we work the face, we are really going to be interested in cervical lymph nodes here. Maybe draw yourself a little face. I drew myself one earlier. We're obviously going to be interested in the cervical lymph nodes here. Here, we've got the parotid set of lymph nodes here. And the other thing that you don't learn too much about until you do proper manual lymphatic drainage is the subclavian vein, which is here. So in all full body MLD, this is the key piece. This subclavian vein is where eventually all the lymph will enter back into and start to move round. So the bit we want open first, and to make sure there is no blockages, is here. So basically just above the clavicle in the middle. Okay. So first thing to write on your notes is obviously you're going to need perfectly clean skin. So if you're in the middle of a facial, you would have already done all your cleansing and your exfoliating. If you're making a standalone treatment for this, then you will start with cleansing, exfoliating if you want it in there. Okay. Oh, and there he is. Very fast. Can I get you to just take your t-shirt off and we'll cover you over? So I'm going to teach you, we're going to go through everything to do with the lift bit. Then we'll talk about inflammation, and then we'll save drainage to the end because it's the most complicated. Anyone that has got to run away, don't stress. I will have the video. So presume we've already cleaned Luke, so he's already had his face cleansed. Okay, let's check we can see. Can everyone still hear me okay? Give me a little thumbs up if we can hear. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure that he's got some superfood on. So let's think about lifting moves first. I'm doing this one first because this is good revision from your skin workout. In terms of the skin workout, we sort of just appear with them on the cheek, don't we? And start lifting. So let me just do that. So presuming as it is in skin workout, we've just been doing all of our big lifting here, our whipping, and we appear with the cryo globe. And think of this one as ice creams. So we are using it like an ice cream scoop, being super greedy, trying to take the biggest scoop we possibly can, but always following through with our fingers afterwards to add that little bit of warmth. Okay. So we're just starting with how we've already used them in the skin workout. This area of the face is the only real bit that you can lift quite as much as that. So you want to really make use of it, and also really make sure that you come and lift in this nasal fold here as well. I think possibly it's the bit on me that I'm starting to really notice as I've hit like 45. So really trying to lift that nasal fold. So I'm just trying to make sure we're perfecting what we already do in skin workout before we go on to the next parts. When we work just one side of the face, what's good about it is you can be really controlled. And so what I would do is I would work one side, then in the skin workout, we do the other. But if you do end up with more time, or you add more cryo into your skin workout by putting an extra upsell on it, it is lovely having both at the same time. Double ice cream scoop. Now you're being really greedy. You want 2 big balls of gelato. But still do the singles and then come together. There's something lovely as a guest about having that symmetry of both sides. Okay. So still just thinking about lifting movements of how we can get these to lift. You can do it on the forehead, but as soon as you come to here, as you just saw him screw up his eyes, you've obviously got lots of muscle, but you've got very evidently the piece of bone here. So you have to be super light. So the real ice cream lifting is going to be coming from down here, okay? And that is what we have predominantly done already. But now I want you to do it with both sides too, not just one singles. Okay. Let's think about the eye for inflammation next. So if someone genuinely has a big spot, or they have patches of sunburn, sounds pretty obvious, but you actually literally can go and hold these on the area. Okay, so start thinking about them as like almost like little stamps that you can stamp onto somewhere. So if someone's got a little patch of redness or rosacea or a spot, that you can hold them. Do you not like the cold, my friend?
Bit of a shock.
They do get really cold.
Just because it's not consistent, as in.
As I keep appearing and reappearing.
Out.
Out. Hello. Okay. Right then. Let's do our big piece of work then, the drainage side. This is where I'm going to twist the directions for you. So if you put drainage next. Okay. So I'm pretending I'm now starting from these have not been on him yet. Let's find a nice way to enter and get him used to those balls. I would, well, like you do with hot stones, it's not a bad idea to steal some of the cold and introduce it with your hands first. Just like when you're waiting for a hot stone to cool down, you can be waiting for these a little as well. And on those initial opening holds, so pretend you hadn't seen me do any of the other stuff before, this is us from the beginning. If you are holding 1, 2, 3, no longer, I would suggest 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So instead of a long tempo hold, I would do 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a third eye and chin, and then maybe a top of head and chin, because I want it to feel like a nice hold, but that I'm not consistently leaving it in the same place if these have just come out of ice and they are super cold. Did that feel okay? He's relaxed now, he's not talking to us anymore. Yeah. Then, starting to think about the drainage, you'll still have yours held in your hands. I will occasionally show you with my fingers because it's sometimes easier on camera to see with fingers first. In a lymphatic drainage treatment, the actual single most important place on the body is here. This is your subclavian, where your subclavian vein is. And when we move lymph around the body, anywhere on the body, it is all eventually going to flow back through here, through this subclavian vein. So we will always start here, and we will always make sure that here is open so it can receive any lymph fluid that we send from anywhere else. So I'm going to start with my fingers, what would be my cryo balls, basically just like you're lining them up on the clavicle. And the movements that I'm going to use always, there is 3. There is a push. So like I'm push, release, it rolls back, push, release, it rolls back, push, release, it rolls back. So a little pulsation, basically. So a pulsation, or I'll do a short sweep, or I'll do a really long sweep. And my pattern is always going to be those: pulse, short sweeps, long sweeps. So if I show you with my hands first, I'm going to start at the subclavian, and my pulse is inwards, this way, towards here. And then I take a step back, and I pulse and push in, step back, pulse and push in, step back, pulse and push in, step back. So showing you with the cryo balls, pulsing, pulsing, all pulsing towards that subclavian vein. Now to do the sweeps, I actually find it easier. I come and I stand on the other side of them. So I'm going to sweep, tiny sweeps, towards the subclavian vein. Do not hit the bones with these. And then once I've done small sweep, medium sweep, bigger sweep, I can then be completely happy that I can then come and do a full sweep in that area. And really that is the pattern for a manual lymphatic drainage, the starter base pattern. If we're then thinking about the neck, you have got lymph nodes around the base of the ears, and then we've also got cervical lymph nodes here. And we are going to start at the bottom, and I am going to pulse down. Then I'm going to pulse down, and pulse down, and pulse down. Then I will do a little sweep, slightly bigger sweep, slightly bigger sweep, all the way sweep. And now, and only now, am I allowed to do all the way sweep, because I've already cleared all of the blockages that could potentially be in front of me. So this is the new pattern that's starting to emerge. We've got to clear all the blockages, and then we can go and sweep. And we're working here first, coming up the face, because once again, everything ends up down here. So we've got to clear in this direction. Now, the one place that sort of breaks the rule is under the mandible, because you've actually got lymph nodes the whole way under the mandible. So it's quite hard to know which way to start. But the bigger set are the cervical at the side of the ears. So we're going to start closer to those. So I will pulse towards the ears, along the edge, pulse towards the beard, pulse towards the beard, pulse. Then a small sweep, get slightly bigger, and then we're back in play like normal, being able to do our whole sweep. On their face, the parotid lymph nodes are here. So we need to start bringing everything towards this parotid lymph node. So I'm not going to do like normal. So normally we'd start right next to the nose and we'd fully sweep out. Instead, in our new life, we are going to start right next to the lymph node, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it. Then I sweep towards it, starting closest to it. So really, we're learning more things to do with the cryo tool, but in truth, I'm giving you a bit of a cheeky insight into full lymphatic lymph drainage. If you went to do a facial lymph drainage course, you'd be learning these concepts. Then I'll take and go a line down. So like we're drawing what I always call in beginners facial our cat whiskers. It leads to the question of why we're not taught this way in the beginning. Step down, same thing, pulses, small strokes, so we can become the big stroke. And now I can happily drain out the full face, as you would expect. And I can also come under here because we've already done here, and I can also come down here. And so with the eyes, we would not start right here. We would start on the outer edge. My pressure now becomes incredibly light. No pressure at all. And the same with the tops. I'm not going to come from here. I'm going to start here first, ending up here. So I'm now going to and now I can go full circles. You can hold these, and this is where the mushroom-shaped cryo balls are really good. You can hold these straight over the top of the eye, but at this point, you'll have zero pressure, like no pressure whatsoever. You're on the eyeball, so absolutely nothing. And then lastly, if we're going to do the draining out on the forehead, we will again start working down. And at this stage, because I've then done everything in the right order, I then have free roam to do all as big strokes in the very natural direction that we would normally work. Okay. One other thing to try that feels quite nice, a little zigzag. You can tell us whether he likes it or not. But I only do this once I've started all my and done all that drainage pattern. And then just like you began, so now, because we've done all that drainage, now if you still had another 5 minutes left, you could just keep working repeatedly in any of those directions that you wanted. And then when you finish, you're going to need to find a way to nicely hold just like you did at the beginning. And if you are going to make this into like a standalone add-on, it's logical to either make the rest of the treatment feel cooling too. So for instance, if you're using hot mitts or hot towels, maybe make those cold. So everything becomes about it being cold. Or purposely choose not to make them cold and they are hot and this is cold and everything becomes about the sports recovery concept of flushing and having both. And now I'm going to finish at my subclavian. When you are happy that you've finished the face, these are really nice in the hair because they're so cold, it can come through the hair. So for instance, you can come round under the ears and down the back of the neck. And you can use them to actually come through the hair because you do have lymph nodes all on the scalp as well. Quite nice, like rubbed behind the back of the lobes, like you're lifting those up. So I would add in like a scalp section with them, but only after you've finished everything on the face, because obviously we don't want to be rubbing any oils that are in the hair onto the face. Okay. And that is some new ideas of what to do with these. Okay. Kirstie back. So, cryo, in the document I'm going to send you, has got some nice benefits. So you can then kind of take those from a marketing point of view as whether you need to add any more benefits. You know which ones you're looking out for. If you're going to get any new ones, I would add in a pair of mermaid tails. What is quite good is to have 2 sets because obviously these do cool down. They are good. They do hold their cold for a long time. But if you've got 2 sets for each treatment, then it means you can swap them in and out cleverly like you do with hot stones so that you're continually keeping that cold. So if you're going to get a secondary pair, I would probably get a mermaid set. And we don't supply them, and I don't necessarily always like sending people to Amazon because of the ethical elements, but there is a really good array of them in Amazon land if you're looking for some mermaid ones that probably will be between about 15 and 30 pounds. And that is our masterclass until the next one, terrifyingly, will be October, and we'll all be talking about Christmas. Okay, those of you that are still here, has anyone got any questions? You can pop your voices back on if you want, if anyone's got any questions. Or you can pop them up into the chat box. Let me just see. No problem. Obviously, a few people had to run away because Kirstie's a little bit, well, I'm 1 minute late. It's the problem of those treatments that all start on the half-hour mark. York, Brighton, any questions for us? I'll press stop on the recording, so bye-bye.